So here in the Philippines, I've been using ATMs to transfer money from my US bank account into my wallet. I usually withdraw at the 7-Eleven. With the current exchange rate, I withdrew 20,000 pesos. And up until July 1st, this is the amount in US dollars, give or take, that gets charged to my bank account. The exchange rate fluctuates, which has caused the dollar amount to fluctuate up and down about 50 cents. Well, the next day I withdrew the same amount, 20,000 pesos, and here's how much my bank got charged in US dollars. Same cash machine, same fee of 250 pesos, and pretty much the same exchange rate. I paid in ATM fees over 28 bucks more than I had been. Needless to say, I felt like I had been gouged. I took my 20K peso withdrawal and divided it by the amount that I was charged. I came up with 55.48 pesos to the dollar, which is well below the actual exchange rate. Google has the current exchange rate at $1 equaling 61.50 pesos. That's quite a difference. I don't think I have to put up with this, and neither do you. So I'm in the process of finding a different way to transfer money from the US to the Philippines. There has been some obstacles that I want to tell you about in this video. But before we get started, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, remember that bell notification. All right, I want to tell you how I took one for the team on this one. So since I've gotten to the Philippines, doing a withdrawal at the 7-Eleven ATM has always charged me 250 pesos. That's over $4, and I know that's been expensive. But I was okay with that because the dollar to peso exchange has always been very close to what Google was saying the exchange rate was. So I didn't sweat it until recently. But I think what has changed is that the banks, and I don't know if it's the bank in my country or if it's the bank here or if it's both, but the banks have changed the exchange rate quite a bit to favor them. So what I'm doing at this point, I'm looking at alternative ways that I can move money from the US to the Philippines, get a better fee and a more favorable, in my favor, exchange rate. And so I asked Grok, which is just like Chat GPT, to tell me what would be the best way to do that. Okay. And I came up with Wise. So downloaded the Wise app, no problem. Trying to set up the Wise account, and it wanted my passport. And my passport was in a file over at C&G Consulting because they renew my tourist visa every 2 months. So I just let them keep it. So I had to travel in there, get my passport, come home, and then take the picture for Wise and try to set up the Wise account. And everything was going fine. I was going to have the money taken out of my bank account in the US and have that sent here to the Philippines until they wanted to send a text message. And they have my old phone number that was in the US. And I found out from my brother that that credit union will not send SMS texts to an international phone number. So I have to look at something else because I'm not willing to go to the ATM anymore and pay 28 bucks in a fee. That's gouging. It's just outrageous how much that is. So a little bit of a reprieve here. Now, here's the deal. I took my ATM and used it as a Visa at a restaurant. Then I got the receipt, took it home, and I looked at what I was being charged on my bank's app. And sure enough, it was about 61 pesos to the dollar. So I was getting a good exchange rate there. Same thing when I used a credit card. Very good, favorable exchange rate. However, there are going to be times when I have to have cash. In order for me to pay my rent, they only accept cash. They don't accept credit cards. They don't accept debit or anything like that. Cash has just been always the easiest way to go. And then there's some other things. I'm not really going to go into what those are, but where I have to pay cash. So here's an alternative. I have to stay up until 10 o'clock at night because that's when my credit union opens on the west coast of the USA, which is about 7 in the morning, even though the branches don't open until like 9:30 or 10. But I can call the administrative offices at 7 in the morning. So I have a bank account that I've opened here in the Philippines, and I can call my credit union at 7 in the morning their time, 10 in the evening here in the Philippines, and do a wire transfer. And I think it takes a couple days. And so that's no problem. I can call them. I can give them my bank account number and tell them that I want to wire from my checking to my bank account here. And the only problem is that two problems. I think it takes at least a couple days. That's the first problem. The second thing is that they charge a $35 fee. Now, it doesn't matter if you're sending $50, it's a $35 fee. If you're sending $1,000, it's a $35 fee. So the $35 fee doesn't really change. It's not a percentage of how much you're sending. So I came up with the idea. My brother and I, we both bank at the same credit union in the U.S. And it's not an issue for me to, when I call, to have the money that I want to transfer and have it transferred over into my brother's bank account at the credit union in the U.S. And then we can send the money into his account here in the Philippines, and then he can just withdraw the money. And then that way we're splitting the $35 fee. So it'll be $17.50 each. So I'm thinking, okay, well, that's not too bad. That's a lot less than the $28 every time you want to withdraw cash, and that's only 20,000 pesos. This is a total amount. So, and it's even less than when I was just paying the 250 pesos. However, I don't know what the bank, if they're going to give me the favorable exchange rate, if it's going to be about the 55 pesos to the dollar, or if it's going to be 61. So this is something that we're going to try. Now, if this doesn't work, then I've learned that you can go through an app called Text Now that you can download, and you can set up a U.S. phone number so that you can receive texts from institutions like a bank or whatever in the U.S. where they will not send text messages overseas. And I don't think the fees that they charge, I know that you can set up Text Now for free. I don't really know that much about that. So this whole thing is really a work in progress. If you're a retiree and you're coming here and you're on a fixed income and you just have Social Security, you don't want to spend any more than what you have to. And that's my mindset too. So I'll see if I can get this resolved. I'll possibly do a follow-up video on this situation. Thanks for watching. I hope to catch you in the next video. God bless and peace out.